Hi everyone. Since we missed the class today because of the snowstorm, I'm going to provide an overview of chapter 1, and then after this I'd like you to please read the chapter very carefully in the textbook as well. So today we're going to just learn the basics of what is marketing, and what you see in front of you is two columns. And the most important thing to remember is that when we talk about marketing, we're really not referring to a list of activities or tactics, but more of a mindset, an orientation, a way of thinking where the company is focused on the customer. And that's most important to remember. So if you look at the left column here, you will see that marketing is being perceived or conceived in terms of a philosophy, an attitude, a perspective, and an orientation. In addition, marketing is also the 4 Ps, which is product, pricing, promotion, and place or distribution. So this is more of a tactical view of marketing. This one on the left-hand side is more of a strategic view of marketing. So let's look at the definition of marketing as it has been put forward by the American Marketing Association. And if you look at the definition, it's again incorporating the 4 Ps, which is right here. Marketing is the activity for creating, communicating, delivering, and exchanging offerings. But more importantly, the American Marketing Association is stressing on this notion of creating value for customers, clients, partners, and then the society at large. So there is a lot of emphasis on businesses to culminate exchanges between the buyer and the seller, but do so in a way that does not put the society at large or the environment at a disadvantage, but also creates value for them. Okay. So from there, let's look at a different an ad for a brief moment. So what you see in this ad is a product, and the product here is a place, Williamsburg, Virginia. So when we use the term product, I'd like you to not just think about it in terms of a tangible product, but anything that a company can market, price, promote, etc. Right? So let's look at the next ad, and here the product is a service, the automobile insurance. And if you see the customer for this product, that means the buyer of the product is our parents of teen drivers in the household. Right? Let's look at this ad here for a moment. Another variation of a product, and here the product is an idea, which is being a responsible adult and not providing access to alcohol to an underage driver. So the point being that when we think about products, I'd like you to think about products as not just tangible products, but pretty much anything that can be exchanged between a buyer and a seller. So when you go to a hair salon and you get a haircut, the haircut, which is the service, is a product. So core, center to marketing is this notion of exchange, which means that the company so the buyer and the seller enter into a transaction where someone gives up something to receive something else that they'd rather have. So, you're looking at the definition, and so this concept of exchange is central to individuals or consumers walking away with a sense of value. So there are 5 conditions that are necessary for an exchange to take place, and you see them right here in front of you. The textbook also gives you a brief description of each. The most important thing to remember is that all 5 conditions are necessary for an exchange to take place between a buyer and a seller. If one condition doesn't exist, the exchange doesn't exist. However, marketing can still take place, right? So even though you might not have the desire to deal with the other party, the company can still continue to market its product. So we talked earlier about marketing being a philosophy and attitude. So in addition to marketing, there are a couple of different options that businesses have in terms of an orientation, which don't necessarily comply with the marketing orientation. So the first one on the top is the production orientation. And this is where the company is inwardly focused and it's looking at its own strengths and saying, what is it that I know how to do best, without really focusing on the need of the customer. The sales orientation is where the company uses very aggressive and persuasive tactics to make the customer enter into an exchange. So the best example of a sales orientation would be companies like QVC or HSN on the television, right? Where the emphasis is to get the customer to cave into the pressure and buy the product. Marketing orientation is what we believe in as marketers, and the societal orientation is where the company is not just focused on delivering and meeting the needs of the customer, but is also thinking beyond and saying, through our exchange, how can we benefit the society? So to sum it up, the marketing concept is this idea that the company is in existence for two reasons. One, to satisfy the customer's wants and needs, and two, to meet its own objective. And most of the times, for-profit marketers, their objective is to make a profit, right? So companies that practice the marketing concept have in front of them these three key issues, which becomes the focus of the organization. So the first one is to create value for the customer. The second one is to maintain satisfaction. And then the third is to build long-term relationships. So if you look at customer value, that's a ratio where the benefit has to exceed the sacrifice. And so several different ways in which companies will do that. So for example, if you bought a jacket recently on clearance for $25 and the ticket price for the jacket was $75, the ratio of benefit to the sacrifice you made, $25, is a positive or a favorable one to you, and you walk away with a deep sense of value for that in that exchange. The second focus of the company is satisfaction, and this is where you notice that the customer is happy, and that outcome becomes a reality when the product either meets or exceeds the expectations. The third one is relationship marketing, and this is where companies try to build these, or foster these long-term partnerships, relationships with the customers and individuals. And one way in which companies do that is, through what's called cause-related marketing. And so here I'm sharing an example for Yoplait that has been implementing this campaign called Save Lids to Save Lives, where for 10 weeks in the fall, for every pink lid or every foil lid from a yogurt cup that is returned back to the company makes a 10-cent donation to the Susan G. Komen Breast Cancer Foundation. And so, look at how the company is engaging, involving the customer, and as a result trying to sustain or hold on to this long-term relationship. So the last slide, again, is just a summary, which is the company that is looking to practice a market orientation should have a customer focus, have this leadership in place, know everything about the competitor. But then the last one, which is interfunctional coordination, which means all divisions within the organization should have that focus on the customer and should work together to meet both the customer's need and the objective of the company. So that's all, this was a brief chapter. That's all I have on this chapter. Please use this opportunity to kind of get a summary and then read the chapter in detail in your textbook. Thank you for your attention.